Hello fellas, it's the Double Square back after with another video. Today we're going to Sasuke 40 result predictions. Basically, we're going to be predicting results of notable competitors on how well they'll do on Sasuke 40. The course is going to be the exact same as Sasuke 39, as they rarely change their obstacles. The only obstacle changes we get is the occasional AMW obstacle in the course. Anyways, let's get to the flow. With our first competitor, you may know him for lifting a dumbbell at the start line, and he's always a very early runner, usually with the number 3. This time he's 3 after missing out in Sasuke 37 and Sasuke 38. I'm going to have a low of quad steps and I have a fishbone. And I'm going to have a normal prediction of rolling hell. That's where I ultimately see him failing. I can't see him making it further than fishbone. I can see him clearing the rolling hell, as he's done it a few times before, and he made the fishbone once. And I love quad steps because he's failed there before, and he usually fails to transition between the quad steps and the rolling hill. Next competitor, I don't know much about her, but she is relevant enough to have a Sasukepedia page, so I'm going to say I love a rolling hill and I have a dragon glider. That's a strategy you take if you don't know anything about a competitor, but I'm thinking a silk slider or a fishbone failure, because she failed on the silk slider last tournament. Sometimes history repeats itself, but it's very easy to improve in a competition like this where they never change their own obstacles. Another competitor, she failed on the fishbone last tournament. I looked and she wasn't very fast. I have a low of a rolling hill and a high of a dragon glider. With this tournament, I see either a fishbone or a dragon glider fail. Alright, so a contender who could actually make it to stage 3. The last 3 tournaments, he's been consistently making it stage 2 and has been improving every single time. Because it's Sasuke, I feel like his streak of improvement is still going to continue. He's going to make it stage 3. But I'm going to have a high of a swing edge, and I feel like that's where he's going to be falling at the end of the day. Another competitor, you may remember him in Sasuke 38, or having a crazy wipeout on the dragon glider, right as he's going to time out. I have him as a low of a rolling hill and I have a dragon glider. I'm going to say he's probably going to fail on the dragon glider. I feel like either dragon glider or rolling hill. There's no in between for this guy. Alright, a former Black Tiger. He's been making it stage 3 consistently. 37 all the way 39, making it stage 3. I feel like he can do it again. This time I feel like he's going to make it a cliffhanger dimension, but fail. He's been failing on the cliffhanger dimension, flying bar, and swing edge. I feel like he can redeem himself on those obstacles though, because the swing edge, the competitors are now familiarized with it and they train pretty often on these obstacles. So if you just train regularly for the same obstacles, you're bound to improve no matter what. Alright, you may remember her for her klaxon going off back in Sasuke 35 on the second obstacle. So I have a low of a rolling hill and I have a fishbone. Well, I'm going to have my normal prediction as a rolling hill because she's failed at 4 out of 5 tournaments. Alright, a competitor that I can generally see making it far, but he has a lot to prove. It's his 3rd tournament and could be a dark horse to go far. He's a new kid who could break out. We've seen these new stars break out before. I feel like it can be with him as well. Have him as a low of a spider walk and a high of a swing edge. I feel like I see a late stage 2 or early stage 3 from this competitor. You may remember him back in Sasuke 32 and 33, where he made a replica of the music box and the fishbone. Ever since then, he made it past the 4th obstacle, usually going out on the 5th obstacle, but in Sasuke 38, he timed out on the warp wall. So thus, I see a low of a fishbone and a high of a warp wall failure. And I'm going to say he's going to make it to the warp wall, but run out of time, considering it's not 1 warp wall anymore, it's 2 warp walls. So now you have to pick up the pace. And you never know about the weather. Last tournament, he broke out and made it all the way 2nd stage, even though he failed on the rolling line. He's 20 years old, being the youngest competitor that we're predicting, and it's even younger than the hiatus of King Kisugi. Anyways, I love a salmon ladder Mabori and I have a reverse conveyor. Personally, I see him failing on one of the salmon ladders, but you never know. He could make it past it and make it to the reverse conveyor. Another newer competitor. The last 2 tournaments, he's been breaking out and making it stage 2. Anyways, I feel like a low of a spider walk and a high of a swing edge. Personally, I see that he's going to time out on the wall lift. I feel like he still has a lot to work on in the speed department, but he's definitely going to get better. And either this tournament or next tournament, he's going to make it stage 3. This is a competitor that generally I'd love to see make a comeback. And even though he's 35 and he's aging, the last time he made it stage 2 was Sasuke 35 back in 2018, 4 years ago. And then Sasuke 33 was the last time he made stage 3 5 years ago, and I genuinely believe he still has a shot. However, the last times he made it stage 2, the spider walk got him. With the most recent tournaments, the dragon glider has been haunting him. So I would love a fishbone and a high low wall lift. Personally, I see him going out on the dragon glider or a warped wall. Another competitor who has to make a comeback. Ever since the new era, he's been struggling. Since Sasuke 2 onwards, his luck has been terrible, and I'd love to see a comeback. I would love a fishbone and a high wall lift, but personally, I see him failing on the dragon glider. But if he miraculously clear, I see him timing out on the warp wall. Anyways, this is a competitor who has not competed in 9 years. Last time he competed, he was 29. He still had potential to do very well. However, he had stuff going on that he had to take a hiatus for a long time, but he's back. I'm not sure if he's back full time or just for this tournament, but regardless, it's nice to see him back in competition. So I have him as a level fishbone and a hell of a low lift. The reason I'm not too optimistic on him is because it's been a long time since he last competed. I'm not sure how good he is nowadays, but I feel like because of how much the course has changed, and the fact that he's almost in his 40s now, I feel like stage 1's not going to be so easy for him. So that's why I have this range. I want to have my prediction as a warp wall failure, but clearing stage 1 is still not out of it for him. Another competitor who's been around since the beginning, Sasuke 2 to be exact. I would love a rolling hill because he's failed on that obstacle before. I have a dragon glider if he breaks against his odds and has his best run in 10 years, which I'd love to see. So my official prediction for him is probably going to be the fishman. That's where I see him failing. An obscure Shin Sasuke competitor, back at it. He competed in 2 tournaments in Shin Sasuke, disappeared, came back in Sasuke 38, failed the first obstacle. Sasuke 39, for the first time ever, cleared the first obstacle, even though he failed the transition. So does it count? Yes, it does. So I have a level of quad steps and I have a fishbone, but I'm going to say rolling hill as the prediction. Another competitor who's been breaking out, he's part of the Black Tigers, and he's been popping off every single tournament. Sasuke 37, always Sasuke 39. He's been doing well. He's been going pretty fast on the courses as well. Time has not been an issue for him. And one of these tournaments, he did very well. He nearly cleared the cliffhanger dimension. I would love a swing edge because of last time, but he has the potential to make it the final stage. But he has to do it within the next few tournaments, as he's now past 30, and I'm not sure how much time he has left. So as a normal prediction, I'm going to say he's going to make it the vertical limit. A competitor who consistently makes the 3rd stage, you usually see him going out on the cliffhanger. That's where he usually goes out. And I see it happening again this tournament, but I have a high of a vertical limit just in case he does. And because I do not want to have a low and a high of the same obstacle, but he has made a singular transition before, and I know he's been training hard. He's been struggling on that transition for 8 years now, and I'd love to see him be able to clear the cliffhanger after so long. A competitor who made a final stage in the first 3 tournaments, it's nice to see him still around, even though he probably won't make it as far as he did during the first few tournaments. It's just nice to see an old face on the course though. Have a little bit of rolling hill and a hop of fishbone. Personally, I'm seeing him failing on the fishbone, but the rolling hill, he went out there in Sasuke 38. You may know him as a big Japanese YouTuber and a celebrity that probably will take up a lot of the screen time in the broadcast, but still it's a big deal in Japan because he's a big YouTuber. Last tournament, he managed to fail on the soap slider. So I have a love of rolling hill and a high of fishbone. Personally, I do see him failing on the fishbone because the silk slider, it's not too hard. You just don't overshoot it and you're good. He's been breaking out recently. The last 2 tournaments, he's done very well, from nearly making stage 3 all the way in his rookie tournament to the cliffhanger and Sasuke 39. So I would love a cliffhanger dimension and a high vertical limit, but this tournament I see him failing on the cliffhanger dimension. ABC through Z, you may know him as a celebrity that takes up a lot of your screen time. He used to make it stage 2, as he did in Sasuke 33 and 34. However, since then, he's been haunted with the Dragon Glider, and also the TIE Fighter and the Warp Wall. I want him to make a comeback. So I would love a Dragon Glider because that's what's been taking him out in 3 of the 5 most recent tournaments. A hybrid reverse conveyor because I feel like if he makes it to stage 2, that's where he's going to go. But as a final prediction, I have a warped wall. Yeah, he could fail the Dragon Glider, but he could also fail the warp wall, and considering it's 2 warp walls, it's going to be a bit harder for him. And the fact he's getting closer and closer to 40 years old. A competitor who's very consistent, and the main obstacle that he fails on is the cliffhanger. That is pretty much the only obstacle he fails on. However, he's able to make a transition. He missed Sasuke 39 due to an injury, but he's back. He's pretty known for his speed, but despite him usually failing on a cliffhanger, I have him as a low on the swing edge because it's a brand new obstacle and he did not attempt it last tournament. And I have a vertical limit because he can make one transition and I want him to make another transition. I feel like he's able to do it and I want him to break out on stage 3. Considering that he's now past 30 years old now, he got to make a breakout, but he's definitely been one of the most consistent competitors of all time. And another competitor who's been breaking out within the last few tournaments even made it to the final stage in Sasuke 37. So if him was a low of a cliffhanger dimension as he failed it in Sasuke 38, but high of a final stage, he's done it before and he definitely can do it again. And as a final prediction, I see him making it to the final stage. He's probably going to be the best result that's not from Yusuke Morimoto. Anyways, he's been on an off streak. Ever since Sasuke 36, he has yet to replicate his performance from failing the fishbone to the reverse conveyor to the warp wall. So though the warp wall and a high vertical limit, personally I do see him failing at the vertical limit. I'm going to be optimistic. I feel like he can make the comeback. I feel like the weather was in the way last time. And I feel like since he knows the rolling log, what the rolling log's like, and now the rolling log is nerfed, I feel like he has a pretty solid chance to make it stage 3. I know there's the swing edge in the way, but I feel like he should be able to clear that, so I'm going to say vertical limit. A competitor that I want to see break out for a long time. He's been struggling to break out. Ever since he came back in Sasuke 34, second stage has been giving him nightmares. After Sasuke 39, for the first time ever, he cleared stage 2. However, he got out pretty early in stage 3. So I have a low of a warped wall because of what happened in Sasuke 37. I have a high vertical limit. I want to say final stage, but I can't say final stage until I see his abilities on the cliffhanger and vertical limit in competition. So I'm going to go with a vertical limit. A competitor who broke out last tournament, I found the Dragon Glider in Sasuke 38. Sasuke 39, he made it all the way Sideliner. So I would love a Dragon Glider because he could fail again, and I have a cliffhanger dimension. I feel like this time around he's going to fail on the swing edge, but he still has a chance to make it to the cliffhanger dimension. He's known for being the oldest competitor to clear stage 2, and I hope he continues his record because he's in pretty good shape, and because Sasuke never changes their course. I know he struggled on the warped wall previously, as you can see in Sasuke 36 and Sasuke 38. On Sasuke 39, he made a comeback and made it to his third stage. But I can see him making a cliffhanger, but I'm gonna go and say swing edge. You may know him as a celebrity competitor that takes up a lot of your screen time as well, but he's not too bad of a competitor. He made it to the end of stage 1 last tournament, so I have a low of fishbone and I have a salmon ladder to Dari. I feel like he's either going to fail at the warped wall or one of the 2 salmon ladders on stage 2. Competitor who I really don't know much about, but she made a dragon glider last tournament. Because of that, I'm going to go with a low fishbone or a high dragon glider, but I'm going to go stick with my guts and say dragon glider. She's been the top female competitor in Sasuke for a long time, and Sasuke has been banking on this competitor to clear stage 1 for a while now. She came real close in Sasuke 36 and Sasuke 39 with a warped wall timeout. So I have a low of a fishbone and a high reverse conveyor. I don't know how well she would do on stage 2. First she got to clear stage 1. I feel like she's going to make it stage 2 this time, so I'll have it somewhere in stage 2 as her result. She's been breaking out in international ninja shows, but when she competed in Sasuke 36, she got out in the third obstacle. However, she has improved a lot within the span of 4 years. So I have a low of fishbone and a high of a cliffhanger dimension. I feel like she has a solid chance to make it stage 3, but once again, I really have not been keeping up with the international shows. But for my prediction, I'm saying she's making it stage 3. Wow, she's already almost 40 years old. I remember watching her years ago, and the fact that she's 38 years old is crazy, but I have her as a low of a swing edge and a high of a cliffhanger dimension. My prediction is she's going to make it a cliffhanger dimension. She does pretty well in American Ninja Warrior, and she's done real well in Sasuke the both times she competed making a cliffhanger. I'd love to see her make one cliffhanger transition, but I cannot see her clearing the cliffhanger dimension quite yet. You may know him for Johnny Jr.'s, and being a celebrity that takes up a lot of screen time, but he made it to the end of stage 2, which is impressive because years ago he got out on just the very first obstacle. So I have him as a low of a dragon glider because he's failed that before, and then I high of a swing edge because he has a potential to make it stage 3. I'll be optimistic and say he's going to make it stage 3. You may know him for his success on international shows, and you may know him for being on Team Europe and USA vs. the World and one of those specials in American Ninja Warrior. So I have a low of Warped Wall because there's been a trend where some of the international competitors just ran out of time on the Warped Wall, but he has the chance to make it the vertical limit if he breaks out and makes it all the way there. I'm gonna see that he's gonna make it stage 3, but fails cliffhanger or before. Well, this is the comeback. 21 years ago was the last time you seen him on Sasuke, and many of the fan base wasn't even alive. Heck, even some of these competitors weren't even alive at the time, or just little kids. But now he's back. He's been around for this long. And I have a low of Fishbone because I feel like that's the first real challenge. Even though during training he has done that without any problem. But a high of a reverse conveyor, I feel like he just could make it stage 2. However, as a real prediction, I see him either timing out on the warped wall because he's older, he doesn't have the speed he once had, or he's gonna make it stage 2 and chug on the salmon ladder. Keep in mind, salmon ladder wasn't even a thing when he competed. It took like 6 more years until the salmon ladder made its appearance in Sasuke. The comeback is in the making for him. The last 3 tournaments, he's been struggling on the warped wall. So personally, I want to see him make a comeback. Considering last tournament, if it weren't for the crappy weather, he would have been retired. So I want him to break out and make a comeback to stage 3 because I know stage 2 has not been a problem for him for a long time. I feel like if he makes it stage 2, he should be fine. But it's just warped wall or stage 3. If he clears the warped wall, I see him making a cliffhanger dimension. But if he fails the warped wall, well, he fails the warped wall, and he's going to be retired, which I do not want to see happen because he's a strong competitor. I feel like he still has some left to prove. The competitor who pulled off an insane comeback. He's been on a down streak, and then Sasuke 36 pulled it off, and Sasuke 39 he made it to the 3rd stage. So I have a little bit of Fishbone because he tends to make mental mistakes, even though he's been getting better at it. And I have a final stage. But I feel like this time around, he's going to make it the cliffhanger dimension. I feel like the vertical limit or the cliffhanger dimension will be his downfall. Anyways, the man who competed in every single tournament is crazy. But this is a very small prediction range. He's either going to fail on the Fishbone or the Dragon Glider. There's no outside of it because all these times he's been struggling with the mini tramp to get the bar ever since Sasuke 32. Yeah, he's got the bar a few times, but he just failed the transition. And sometimes he makes mistakes on the Fishbone. So I have an option. That's where he's going to go. It's a shame because I'd love to see him make a comeback. But the last time he cleared stage 1 was years ago when he was 40. And that was Sasuke 30. He still has yet to attempt the tackle and warp wall combination. And considering that he's almost 50, he may not be able to do it. You may know him as Mr. Sasuke, and he's back for another tournament, 3rd tournament in a row. That's crazy because years ago he was actually banned from the show, but I guess the ban was lifted or something. And another thing is that he's almost 60 years old, which is insane to think about. Anyways, I have a low of a rolling hell and a high of a dragon glider. There's no way he's going to clear stage 1 ever again considering he's almost 60 years old now, which is insane. But I'm going to have, he's probably going to make it to the dragon glider but fail. He knows he's out of it now, but it's still nice to see the All-Stars appear as 4 of them are competing this tournament. Well, the first out of 4 grand champions in this tournament. He has not competed in 10 years, which was the first Sasuke Rising tournament. That was when the All-Stars were forced to retire, even though he was the only one who actually retired from that tournament. I have a little bit rolling hill because that's where he failed in the Sasuke 32 special when he ran that course for fun. And I have a dragon glider because who knows, he can make a run of it. But personally, I can't see him making it past the dragon glider. And he's probably going to fail the Fishbone or the rolling hill. That's where I see him failing. You may call him one of the greatest Sasuke competitors of all time. And it's nice to see him back because he retired back to Sasuke 32, came back to Sasuke 38 for COVID, and he stuck to his promise to compete in Sasuke 40. And now he's 50 years old, which is crazy because at once he was one of the best competitors on the show. He made it to the final stage 5 times back in his prime. And even when his prime was ending, he still made final stage appearances, third stage appearances. Man was pulling it off. However, I have a low with Fishbone and a high with Warped Wall. He's a strong competitor, but considering he doesn't train for this show much anymore because he's not competing in this show, and the fact he's 50 years old, I can't see him clear stage 1 anymore. So I'm going to go with the flow and say he's going to fail on the Dragon Glider. Another competitor who pulled off an impressive comeback. He was on a losing streak from 31 all the way 33, but 34 made a comeback. Second stage at 36, 37, pulled off impressive runs. If the weather's nice, then he could make it past stage 1, but the weather isn't nice. The Warp Wall is going to get him. And he can clear stage 2 considering the wrong log has been nerfed. So, stage 3, he's pretty strong on it. And usually cliffhangers aren't a problem for him. And if cliffhangers continue not to be a problem for him, he got that in check. And if the vertical limit isn't a problem for him, then he makes a pipe slider. If he avenges his mistake from Sasuke 37, he could make it the final stage. So I'm going to go all out and say a final stage appearance is possible. He could make a final stage. That would be crazy for him to break the record for the oldest finalist. And I know he has it in him. I know he's out of his prime, but seeing him make it the final stage will show that he's one of the best competitors of all time. And Yusuke Morimoto. 3 out of the 5 most recent tournaments, he made the final stage. One of them he even won. The other 2 tournaments, the Warped Wall. So that's why I have a low Warped Wall. If the weather's terrible, once again, it's gonna fail because the weather loves to curse this competitor. But if everything goes right, he can win. And I wish I could say any other competitor has a chance, but most of the other competitors can't make it past stage 3. And they gotta get used to the flow of the final stage with the salmon ladder, the rope, and the rock climbing thing that's there. But we don't know what that rock climbing thing is. Anyways, I see him making the final stage. He's either going to time out at the very end of the final stage or pull off another win. I'm not sure how much longer he'll be in his prime considering he's now past 30. I feel like he has a few more tournaments where he can make it final stage, and I feel like he has at least one more win in him. Anyways, thank you for watching this video. I can guarantee this will not be the only Ninja Warrior related video on this channel. I'll probably do a few more of them. So if you like them, then feel free to subscribe, and I'll drop some game show content on this channel as well. So if you want to keep an eye out for that, then go for it. Be sure to join the Discord server in the description. It's not a Ninja Warrior Discord server, but if you want to compete in my Discord game shows, then join the server in the description. You'll have a fun time. I got a big game show coming up in the server very soon where there's a big chat, and all you do each day is vote someone out, pretty much a game called The Circle. So if you're interested in that, go join the Discord server, and I can guarantee we'll have a fun time no matter what game show is hosted in the server. Peace.